Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Guys, it's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday. And yeah, guys.
You feeling the Friday spirit?
Well, no.
My morning already going to hell.
That's how it is sometimes. But guys, you are here with your faves. Me. It's me, Azam, and of course I'm sitting next to the lovely Jade, Gwenny Gwenadito, CPL Matter Stuart Johnson on this lovely Friday as mentioned. So yeah, stuff happening in the studio, guys, so we're just getting ourselves organized. And of course today's Friday, so we're gonna have a link up. But today's gonna be a link up with a bit of a difference. We're gonna actually be joined by a very special guest, and we're looking forward to the arrival of said person. I guess I could tell you all who it is. I think Jade mentioned it yesterday. Yeah, Geoffrey Hanley. He was the candidate for the Kitts-Nevis Labour Party in Constituency number 1. Should be here in a moment to join us as we link up. So that's gonna be pretty cool. But Jade, how are you doing?
I am physically okay.
Okay.
Mentally, it's catching up.
The
mental's catching up.
I'm very tired. I went to the Calypso show last night.
How was that?
It was a good show. It was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Several good songs, and crowned last night as the Calypso king was King Astro.
Okay.
King Astro, and speaking to several people, they seem satisfied with the result.
That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, definitely. There was no rioting. The police did not have to pull anybody off any judges. Nevis is full of very civilized people, and yeah, it was. So I think that means Astro is actually holding the crown in the two islands.
Look at him, boy. So he's the man to beat.
No, right now. This is a very interesting time in Calypso, and
really,
yeah. You know, sometimes we have these waves. Sometimes you get the battles back and forth, and sometimes you get some portions of dominance. So perhaps this is,
this is just Astro's time to shine.
Yeah, definitely, and people enjoy the songs. People enjoy the little back and forth, the little melee.
Well, it's Calypso without a good little piece of melee.
Yeah. The melee. There was, of course, talks about election, and
anything else would be uncivilized.
Yeah, there was talks about they need to just done the nonsense. So.
Well, that ship has sailed. But we're jumping into Cross Caribbean with our friends over in Antigua. Wonder how the carnival is going for them. Think I saw Darren on the road in one of the clips.
Yeah, most likely. I saw someone on the head top. I wasn't sure if it was him.
The person looked kind of familiar.
Yes, it wasn't. This wasn't wearing glasses. That's the only reason I wasn't absolutely sure that it was our friend in Antigua. But I'm gonna ask him, man.
You definitely will. But in the meantime and between time, yes, we're just awaiting the arrival of Dr. Geoffrey Hanley. Good little conversation we're about to have this morning. I know a lot of y'all are excited for that, especially the Labour comrades. That's what they call themselves.
The comrades.
Yes, the comrades. I wonder who picked these names. We need that. Well, we're the sippers.
Yeah.
So if we run for election, our icon
supporters, a teacup.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, vote for the teacup.
Vote for the teacup.
Vote for the teacup. That's all it is. Drop the X by the teacup.
Please, and don't touch the bottle.
Can we change that? Oh my gosh. Every time I hear somebody mention that, I'll just be like, that is the most ridiculous.
Archaic as in archaic.
That's what you're going to do.
One of the many archaic rules that we have in this lovely federation of ours. Friend, anyway, I'm going to ask you later. So we're ready in Antigua. Good morning.
I think he's just wrapping up.
Okay. I was about to ask you if you're on the list.
Antigua, Barbuda.
Good thing. Saved by the Darren. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Sleeping. I'm not hearing them.
Oh.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we are hearing you now.
Awesome. Jade asked me a very prying question just now, and you came in just at the nick of time. So I want to offer up thanks to you, sir. You just saved me.
What was the
Hey,
question?
hey. Why do we want to go back down these dark paths?
Because they're dark paths. Human curiosity is supreme.
Well, speaking of human curiosity, we were discussing earlier a clip that we saw from the carnival there, and we were trying to decide if the person on their head top in the middle of the street was in fact you. Okay, could you give us any confirmation on that?
And what was this video you were watching? I'm sorry.
It seemed to depict revelers enjoying themselves in the streets of Antigua, and one of them looks suspiciously like you.
I can give you my highest assurance that it was not me.
Probably was drunk, dude.
Cannot get
Don't remember.
any higher assurance. Pardon me?
Probably was drunk. You didn't remember.
No, I don't usually get drunk, if ever at all. I think the one time I may have gotten close to being drunk was the night before I decided to tie the knot when my buddies took me out.
Understandable.
Yeah. Well, outside of that, no, my friend, I don't like not being in control. So it wasn't me then, and it wasn't me now.
Okay.
It wasn't me, and this is not a shaggy. It wasn't me. This is a real. It wasn't me. Yeah. I was very much. I had an exam this week, so I would not have been reveling in town.
Oh, I got you.
So the reveling is coming soon, then, basically.
Well,
People revel in different ways. Okay.
People revel in different. Thank you. Oh, Azem, you're a genius. You're a genius.
Yes.
Exactly.
You saved me once. I had to repay the favor.
Yeah, no, I will have a good time this weekend, but it will probably not be in the format that you might expect. Let me just put it that way. But there are a number of events taking place. Of course, you're going to have a Calypso show tonight. You have Soca Monarch tomorrow night. Pan, which is not full-scale panorama, but there will be a Pan show on Sunday night, and then Juve the Monday morning, and then the parade and the last lap on Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday, of course, being public holidays. You have no idea how I'm looking forward to these periods of time.
Oh, so are we. So
Sorry,
are we.
yeah, I can imagine. So, and there are a number of fetes. Probably the biggest fete, and I think I can say that because it's certainly one of the more established fetes, and that is Breakfast Fete. That's going to be on Sunday morning. Yeah, Sunday morning, bright and early, 4 o'clock. And I understand people are now demanding tickets. They had early bird, and people were kind of waiting and seeing, and now everybody wants to get a ticket to go Breakfast Fete. But yeah, that's probably one of the big
thing.
It seems to be a Caribbean thing. We love to wait till last minute and still expect to get the rate that you would have gotten 2 months ago. I don't get it.
Indeed, it's strange.
I don't get it. But that's probably one of the big events. One of the things about Breakfast Fete is that you kind of don't really know who's performing. It's like a mystique, you know. You know, with some fetes, you know it's going to be Kess, or you know it's going to be whoever, whichever artist, Tian Winter, Claudette Peters, Menace, etc. But with Breakfast Fete, you hear a little shoo-shoo. It's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
But people go for that. They want to go and be pleasantly surprised. Bam.
That is interesting.
What it is, you just don't want to be the one that missed out. That's really what it is.
And that is really what it is, and it's a marketing ploy, I guess, or an approach that has worked for them. It's a highly successful event, and I know just now somebody was just saying, Darren, I can't get a Breakfast Fete ticket. I told them I'm sorry for them because it's now $400 a pop, so and $500 at the gate. But that's how it is. That's one of the big fetes. I think there's another one my technical director was telling me about called Lemonade. Lemonade, that's how it is, up at Barnacle Point. So that's another fete. And then we have Rise, which I think is tomorrow. All right. You see? Oh, tonight. Oh, apparently tonight. Yes, he's educating me. Okay, I can tell I ain't going to, most of these things.
You go and be in your bed for half of the events.
Jade, you too need to move to the head of the class. Yeah, man. I look forward to it, especially since I've been doing some studies lately. I have a significant sleep deficit. So I intend to make up for it. Sorry?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Well, no, I plan to say some, and somebody intends to see more of me this weekend too. My boy, family. You know it is. So I will be in their control over the weekend, for the most part, with one notable exception, perhaps. And I won't say what it is on here. So, what's happening in St. Kitts? Where's your guest? We're here chatting.
We're still awaiting his arrival.
Okay. Remind our listeners, or advise our listeners, who is supposed to be our guest this morning.
Today we have the Honourable Dr. Geoffrey Hanley, which is the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party representative for Constituency number 1, which is where I'm from.
Excusez-moi.
Yes.
All right. So he's trying to be in your good graces, Jade.
Well, I mean, we're after a bad start.
Yes, we are. I was just about to say he's not doing himself any favors by being late. Because the other challenge we're going to have is that we have to leave here by a certain time because of our pressures from the whole weekend situation. So we're going to have to leave here around hour. So I'm hoping we get a chance to hear what he has to say before we go.
That would be awesome, but we'll see.
Yes, we'll work it the best way we can.
Yeah, we're fervently trying to reach him, so. Yeah.
All right. So how are things going? How's the campaign unfolding? A week till elections?
Literally a week, and we cannot wait till it's over. We are quite tired of the shenanigans, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's usually the case. I think we're tired here too. Well, a lot of people here are tired, even though our campaign has not really started in earnest as yet.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and we're tired. Well, I can speak for myself. I just wish it would be over and done with. But I have a feeling it's not going to be called. I don't know. I just don't feel it's going to be called anytime soon. I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah. I mean, what's happening here in relation to the election is, I guess of note, on Tuesday, the 26th, it was nomination day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And of course, as we do it here in the Caribbean, it's a lot of fanfare and celebration, and one would believe that votes were cast and that elections were won.
I thought it was on holiday, actually. I was confused. I thought I missed the memo.
Yeah, but as the parties nominated officially their candidates, they had celebrations, motorcades, and for the most part, it was very cordial, peaceful amongst the parties. However, we did have one incident of a bit of conflict. At one of the registration sites.
What was it?
Yeah, there's just there was it seems as though two of the parties had the same time, or at least close to the same time, to at least plan to go and register their candidates, which happened in other constituencies as well. But for some reason, this one had a bit more fireworks, between the supporters and thing, and there was a bunch of videos going around on social media with supporters of different parties expressing their positions. Yes, to one another. And
it was an intense moment of fellowship.
Yes, indeed, quite intense.
What are you laughing for?
Yes, but the truth is, though, as much as that happened, the fact that I think in most of the other situations where there were meetups between candidates and their supporters, it was cordial. We saw videos of the candidates from different parties, shaking hands, embracing, wishing each other good luck. And so I'm hoping that is the trend as we move further closer to election day.
What is the campaign theme? Or no, that's not the correct way. What are the messages coming out of the campaign from the different parties? I mean, Labour Party will have one message or set of messages. PAM will have their own set that they think will resonate. The People's Labour Party, I hope I have that right. Nevis Reformation. Has that been crystallized in your minds and I'm assuming in the minds of the voters in St. Kitts?
I could vividly speak to one of them, which is the People's Labour Party. They seem to have a theme of we welcome all, everybody is welcome, no matter which party you supported before. We are the new home for you.
They're also running on their track record as being part of the unity government. And so, speaking about how they were able to navigate the pandemic and especially pushing the social programs that would have been put in place to either help some of the disenfranchised or persons who were deemed in need of a second chance, particularly that one that's called the Alternative Lifestyle Program. I think that's the official name, but in the streets,
it's called
it's called the Peace. It's
Peace
called the
Program.
So that has been one of the talking points on all sides.
That one has dominated again.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? Alternative lifestyle program. What is that?
It seems to have come out of a suggestion from persons who may have been involved in activities that aren't necessarily encouraged by society. And
Azem, you're the best. You're the best.
I'm just saying. And they seem to have come up with ideas as to how to help them transition into, let's say, being more productive citizens.
I see.
And so, but the issue is that a lot of us aren't necessarily totally clear on how it works, how people are selected for the program, etc. But it has been cited as one of the main reasons why our crime rate, particularly violent crime, has drastically decreased. And so that is something that is a big a big token. The Labour Party is speaking about the fact that they were given a chance. They be in the unity government and its members of that coalition, and they were not successful, of course, but that is expected. But as well as speaking to the fact that they weren't able to keep it together and deliver for the people. And also stressing that they have a well-balanced team with experience and youth. And that seems to be a big thing. Just saying that they are the better option based on the track record, the same track record. And then the People's Action Movement, they are speaking to the...
Remember, when you said People's Action Movement, you have to also add a /CCM because they're one family.
Okay.
Yes,
I got you.
And I think the message is...
Kind of like UPP and BPM is one family. Well, many people consider them to be more or less, parts of the same family here. Too, politically speaking, yeah.
Yes, well, they are also running on their track record as part of the unity government. However, saying that, look at what they were able to achieve, even with their, hands being tied and not being able to operate, and that they're asking for a fresh mandate to deliver for the people in even better ways without being undermined by the present Prime Minister. Of course, and then there will be talk of how that undermining took place and stuff. But for the most part, it seems as though they're saying, if we are able to get back into government without this element, imagine what we can do. So that's my assessment, I guess.
Wow.
Well,
boy, interesting.
Sorry,
interesting perspective. Sorry?
Dr. Hanley apologizes for his tardiness. He said there was some miscommunication with the timing. So although you may miss out on his interview, he said he will be here shortly.
I see. Yes, I'll certainly miss out. By the way, we had there was a Queen show that took place in Antigua and Barbuda.
That we swept. I just wanted to add that. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Darren. Sorry. My bad.
Are you going to let me speak now?
Yes, have the floor.
Lord have mercy, I couldn't get my words out edgewise, Jack. You're ready for me. Anyway, JC's Antigua, who puts on this show every year, well, of course, save for the pandemic, would have put on the show, a fantastic show by all reports. And the winner of the JC's Queen Show 2022 was a citizen resident of the Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Nakira Nichols.
Indeed.
So a listener wants me, they went out of their way early and bright, even before the regional link up, to say, please congratulate your guests on their triumph at the JC show for me. Hooray. So someone is celebrating with you. I'm not sure if this particular caller is from Antigua or St. Kitts, but it doesn't matter. The point is congratulatory sentiment is in order. So I'm sure that you are both, and everyone in St. Kitts is justifiably proud. She did her country proud, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we are, of course, very, very proud of her. And the nation, I think the nation needed that little galvanizing occurrence there. I think everybody just kind of was happy that she seemed to do so well. I didn't do the pageant. I didn't watch it, but from all accounts, she did put down a great performance.
Right. There was no, I'm reading a piece from our Daily Observer today. There was no doubt that the crown would be going to Sugar City as Nichols cleaned up, winning 4 out of the 5 judge segments: Best Interview, Best Performing Talent, Best Modeling Skills in Evening Wear, and Best Swimwear. Right? And I think, I don't know if, you know what, let me not say that before I get myself in any kind of trouble. Trinidad and Tobago's Sharona Khan placed first runner-up, while St. Lucia's Wenia Vernol, I hope I have that correctly, was second runner-up after being judged best dressed in evening wear. All right, so there we are, and Miss St. Kitts is featured in our Daily Observer today. It's on page 6. I'll send it to you if you don't have it already.
Awesome.
I'll send it to you. She's in her red dress, a lovely red dress, with her bouquet and her crown. Wow. Happy for her, and happy for all of you in St. Kitts-Nevis. Something to celebrate in the midst of this political furor over there.
Well, the word on the street is that we were robbed of the evening wear
my
segment.
gosh.
But you know, that's how it goes.
Oh,
sometimes.
come on. Or you should take your victory, your crown.
No,
and
we
let
are.
you-
We're taking our sweep and living long, but I'm just saying that the word on the streets is that,
School children
you
say.
know.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's certainly something to be celebrated over there, and I'm not sure if any of the political parties are going to try and make hay out of that. I don't know. Is that something that you would expect?
I don't see how they could. I mean,
You
it's
don't see how they
politics,
could.
and they are capable of doing anything, but I really don't see how they could this time. Hopefully they can't.
I wouldn't put past any politician. I wouldn't put it
Indeed.
past any politician. I got to tell you. There's some that I admire who, would probably not. But the vast majority, if they think it will be to their political advantage, they are going to capitalize on it in whatever way they can. But yes. But by the way, do either of you know the Queen personally, or have met her, or interacted
do.
with her? Oh, okay. Yes. Go ahead, Jade. Tell us. What is she like?
She's definitely a friend of the show.
Yes,
She's a friend of the
definitely
show.
a friend of the show. We actually
Oh, this is
interviewed her.
personal for you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, it's personal. For
I think we both were
politicians.
friends with her before she entered pageantry, right?
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are still friends, or she,
Oh
long
no,
time.
no. I must say, Darren, she is a lovely young lady. Someone I think, and I think that's one of the reasons why we are so happy and proud of how she did, because I think people genuinely admire her and appreciate who she is as a person, and her character as a young woman. So. Everyone I hear speak about her flat in, positively, and
That's a good thing.
yeah, it's definitely something that fills us with pride here. So
Indeed.
yeah, congratulations to her again for sure.
All right, lady and gent, on that high note, for St. Kitts-Nevis, not so much for Antigua and Barbuda, because I'm sure there are many Antiguans and Barbudans who would have loved our very own Brianna to have taken the crown. But, I haven't heard anyone who said the judges were wrong. I haven't heard. Usually there's a debate about,
They cheat.
this person should have won, that person should have won. There might have been a toss-up on the Trinidad, Tobago, and St. Kitts, but I think I haven't heard anyone, say the judges were off. I think people generally, those who watched it very closely, were very pleased with the outcome and thought that it was adjudicated fairly. So congratulations to the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. And exactly a week from now, it will be election time. I don't know if we'll have a regional link-up next week.
Of course we will. It's not a
Okay.
holiday for us.
Okay. Well, I know, but I don't know if the two of you are going to vote early and may not be doing the show. I don't know how it goes.
We will be here in these seats.
Okay, very well. So we'll plan, and hopefully whoever guest we have on, even though I don't think they can campaign, right? You can't campaign
Not
on
on
election.
election day.
No.
Not on election day, but they'll get the timing right. And I do apologize to all listeners that for the absence, because I made it clear that we were going to have a member of the Labour Party, and
Same here.
so listeners are going to be a little disappointed. But we have to take our leave because we have our next guest waiting for us. All right. So sorry. Well, I'm sorry to our listeners for the absence of our special guest.
Yeah, of
But it
course.
was nice catching up with you and hearing the two of you gloat about Miss St. Kitts-Nevis. So, and that's okay.
I wouldn't use the word gloat now.
What word would you use?
we just are celebrating a victory that is well deserved.
Okay. All right. Some people call it celebrating a victory. Some people call it gloating. Bye. Have a wonderful weekend. Love to you both. Have a wonderful weekend.
You as
Emancipation Day activities start tonight and into the weekend. Church services, remembrances. There's going to be a watch night tonight as well. So there, those who are very Afrocentric, shall we say, or African conscious, they are going to be, tonight is going to be a very special night for them and for those who can identify with the cause. And that's going to be taking place tonight at the Botanical Gardens, such that it is. And then there are activities into the weekend as well. I'm supposed to be wearing my dashiki today, and this morning I woke up late and forgot.
Oh,
But
no.
I should have been wearing my dashiki. I might end up going home and going for it. I don't know. So unfortunately, you are not seeing me in a dashiki today.
I'm changing up my hat to African headwear after the show.
Okay, very well. Take care. Blessings to you both.
Man. Yeah, Jay. I think we had the same conversation last year. For some reason here in St. Kitts, it doesn't seem like the vast majority of us even know why we have the holiday.
They definitely don't. All they don't even know the name of the holiday.
You just August Monday. You just August Monday and. No, boy.
You know what? I'm not surprised.
No, whatever.
I'm not surprised. But yes, before our next guest joins us, I was asking you, friend, is your name on the list, fam?
I have been openly asking to be put on the list, Jade.
And they didn't. Lord.
Like, so I would not have been on the list.
Nobody could have edited the Google document and add as him to make him feel good?
I don't know. I just. What? I don't know. People. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. But I started seeing a lot of hoopla yesterday, and I was confused. I headed to my general source of information, Jade. I was like, Jade, something going on? Like I've seen a lot of WhatsApp statuses, and I don't quite understand what's happening. And then she alerted me that apparently there was a leak.
I don't even have to call it a leak.
There was a list. There was a list that was circulated.
Yeah, I don't think a Google document can suffice as a leak. I Googled that.
Was it the Google document? Or was it just like a regular Word document?
I don't even know. I just don't feel like they're trying hard enough. Like the propagandarists, not creative enough for me.
I mean, I could go now and add my name and then circulate it.
Literally can. Literally add mine too, just for little razzle-dazzle. But yeah, man.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe we can make it next year. Maybe we can make it to the list next year.
Yeah, the way things running right now, but I mean even yeah.
You think our guest can help us get on the list?
But who knows? Who knows? That could be question number one.
Well, let us jump right into that.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, man, of course.
Okay.
Of course. So, guys, as mentioned earlier, we have the Honorable Dr. Geoffrey Hanley, the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party Rep for number 1, my constituency, joining us this morning for a little chit-chat, taking some time out of his very busy schedule.
Bye. Right now, he ain't got no time for nothing.
Not at all. So I'm happy that he made time for us.
Hitting the pavement, bye. I could only imagine. But good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing very well, and thanks again for this opportunity. And I apologize for my lateness. I had a mix-up in the timing.
I want to know who tried to sabotage we interview.
Well, I won't say, but I am happy to be here because I've been up since 4:30 doing my prayer, and then I was there waiting, and I said, let me get ready. And then I got the call, and I said, yes, I'm on my way. It's 9 o'clock, and they said, no, it should have been 8. So,
Oh. Well, to see that you made it, let's say well before 9 o'clock, we appreciate it nonetheless. And I appreciate the fact that you did take the time out to come and hang out with us here on Island Tea with the sippers. And I'm looking forward to just chit-chatting with you. Man, I know there's a lot.
anytime.
I know there's a lot happening right now. We're squarely just deep in campaign mode now, ramping up to election day. But just how are you feeling? How is your mental health? How is your physical health? And how are your spirits?
Well, I'm excited about next week, and I must say that I am very confident that I would be returned as the parliamentary representative, and that's not being boastful or anything, is the fact that I have been putting in the work that would require the electorate to make the right choice. And I happen to be positioned in a constituency where they don't make mistakes when they are selecting a representative. And from my track record prior to the political arena, and even now being in opposition and was able to accomplish so much in opposition as an opposition member, I think the persons in East Bastia, when they go to the polls, regardless of what political parties they might have supported in the past, they are going to lend their support to the Honorable Geoffrey Hanley once again, and I would be able to serve the entire constituency. You asked me about my mental health and everything. I am doing extremely well, and apart from my surrounding or my faith in God, I have an awesome team. When I tell you awesome team, I can't even call names because I'm going to get into
Don't get into trouble. I was about to say, don't put
But
yourself
God
in
has
trouble.
surrounded me with a group of young women and men as well, primarily youth, who have been organizing my campaign. And they are on me. I get my routine in the morning. I have to go by my neighbor to make sure that I take my tonic. They gave it to her and told her every morning he has to come and get it. At a particular time, I get my call. Have you had your breakfast? Remember what time is this? And they keep me up to date. It's now lunchtime. Don't go and buy any lunch. We ordered some soup for you. Come and collect it, or my campaign manager or one of the team members will deliver it wherever I am. So I'm extremely grateful with the level.
Yeah, no, we want the same kind of treatment.
I think you will become a candidate now.
Well, you'll have to be a candidate for the SKNLP and be in East Bastia.
Oh.
Because we are we are
okay.
organized group, and like I said, this is not being boasting. I met the structure just like that when the former representative, Honorable Dr. Earl Assi Martin, and we just built on it. So I am really grateful for the love and the support that have been showered out to me by my team. And of course, physically, I am fit. I can't get tired until the 6th or the 7th of August. So I've been going. Matter of fact, just now when I was coming up to the studio, somebody shouting out to me, Geoffrey, you don't gonna sleep? You don't sleep? Because, I've been up and about.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, I know that is something that we sometimes neglect when we speak about, think about, even interact with politicians. The fact that they are human as well, and have all these human needs and requirements and responses to the environment. And I'm very happy to hear, because what I was hearing, I'm going to be honest, I was hearing a sense of gratefulness in your voice. I just spoke about your team. So I'm very happy to hear that that is something that is helping to keep you on the track towards, election day. But you mentioned earlier about your ability to deliver for the people of East Bastia, even whilst being sitting on the opposition benches. What are some of your achievements that you are most proud about since being a parliamentarian?
Thank you very much. As you would know, Mr. Bailey, that I am an action-oriented person. I don't really take no for an answer, and I never waited on government, even when I worked for government for almost 28 years. In the youth department, wherever I worked, I always tried to go and do what I had to do. The computers that we had in the youth department, the desk, I raised my own funds, did my begging, and I got them. And once given the opportunity and recognized that I ended up on the opposition side, which turned out to be not a bad thing at that time, because it was a learning grounds as well for your next move next week to be in government. I immediately said, I am not going to be in opposition and would not be able to say I did this or I assisted with that. And I remember raising it sometime in Parliament that we need to take it to another level where being in opposition doesn't seem as if you're being punished, but more so a training ground for when your turn come to govern. And I said, I am going to be one who will be fighting for an allocation of funds to be placed to all parliamentarians on opposition side, that they would be able to do small projects in their constituency over the 5-year period or however long that period lasted. And as I continue to do what I did even before being elected in terms of my care packages, giving out care packages, I still continue those up to this very moment. And I recognize that these little things mean a lot to people. I was able to, in Pons Pasture, after recognizing a situation up there with the drain and the road, I immediately wrote to the authorities, because I remember hearing before I got into Parliament, they were always lamenting on, oh, this person did not write. They did not get to do nothing because they ain't right. So I said I will change that. So every time I wanted something or saw the need for something in my constituency, I would write to the authorities and, of course, keep the letters on file.
Right.
So when I recognized that the drain cleaning was an issue in my constituency, although it should not be, because when I managed the PEP program, I outfitted all these communities with more than enough drain cleaners.
Right.
But for some reason, the drains in East Bastia, they have been unkept for quite a while. I was able to see some improvement in that. We had a situation at Pons Pasture. For a long time, they went and did some groundwork, I guess, to fix a pipe, and never went back to dealing with correcting the road and making sure. and I recognized that the drain needed to be redone. And I wrote again, and I followed up with my conversations, and we were able to get that done. While they were right there in Ponds Pasture, being the Geoffrey that I am, I spoke with the supervisor and I said, you know what? You're already in Ponds Pasture, and there is a drain over there on Thompson Street that leads from Thompson Street to the main road.
Right.
Dirt keep falling in it, and as a result, it has been swampy, and this has been for many years. I'm not blaming anybody. All I'm asking you, when you leave Musgrave Street, could you organize for that to be worked on? And to my surprise, they started it and they completed it.
Nice.
So these are some of the projects that I was able to get done. With the new houses that they put over on Ivy Batty Street, when they relocated those persons from Wellington Road, they put them in the shelter there. Garbage collection was a problem. And they did not consider that after you put 12 units and then would be building additional ones, you must bear in mind that you must cater for these things. And the garbage, although they had 1 or 2 bins, it was scattered. And the garbage man, the truck driver and the workers on the garbage truck approached me one day while picking up my garbage, and they highlighted the fact that this is the situation that they are confronted with. They say, I know you're not in government, but I don't know what you might be able to do, because gone are the days when the dump truck people used to come around with the fork and the shovel to take up any remains. So once things are scattered, they're not going to do that. And immediately I called the men group, because I have a men's group, a women's group, and a youth group in my constituency together. And I said, men, this is a project that you can undertake. And we went and we secured some garbage bins that we were able to donate to those apartments. And of course, after persons saw you doing that, you started getting calls that they need a bin. So I was able to get some additional bins, and I have some right now in my possession. But because we're in a campaign mode, I did not want to go and distribute them so persons think that I am doing this because
you're treating.
Right. So I have them, and this is part of keeping our community clean and healthy. You will see certain branding that we had put up many years ago in terms of no dumping, let's keep East Bastia clean. So those are some of the things that I have been engaged in since my election as the parliamentarians. When it comes to the Spanish speaking, for the past 2 years, I've been able to offer English classes to our Spanish speaking residents. And I'm grateful for one of my teachers. I don't even know if, I can call her name Ingrid Charles Gums, a very professional individual who would have served many years as a teacher and in gender affairs as a gender director. And I tapped into her skills, and she enjoyed the discussion, and she said she used to do it some time ago and she don't mind doing it for her students. So for the past 2 years, we have been offering them that language so that they can really integrate into the community well. So those are just a little bit of what I have been doing. But the plan that I have for East Bastia is one that I said we speak life into East Bastia. The L meaning I'm going to change the landscape of East Bastia with simple projects and, of course, large ones. Changing the landscape, you're going to see when you walk in areas, you're going to see visible the name of the streets and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try to see how we can do the renumbering or ensure that we do proper numbering and postal for our houses and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Making sure that we utilize all our resources that we have to make sure that the constituency is always vibrant. In terms of in terms of improvement and innovations, we are going to be offering classes in IT and having our young people being able to learn about the same app development as we were able to do our manifesto as an app. Those are some of the things that we are hoping to achieve. When I think of it, I have announced already that I'm going to be building a empowerment training center, and this will also have facilities for person almost as a halfway home, because too often you hear persons coming out of prison and family members, not ready or don't want them to be there, and they're sleeping on person's veranda or in their yards and that kind of stuff. And I'm saying that we need to do something almost similar for like a hostel, where you give them a temporary place where they can reside, of course, in monitoring and everything, and you phase them out. Because I remember when I was in charge of the PEP again, I invested quite a lot in the prison. Even before I managed, while I was as a youth director, I paid for inmates at Her Majesty's prison to do CXC subjects. Every year I did that. And when I got the opportunity to manage a PEP program, I took it to another level where I paid a facilitator, a lecturer, to go in there. And, he was a part of it, but made it official that he will be teaching them. And I'm happy that I was able to do that, because one of the persons who have given me the assurance that once they get the time off this weekend, they're going to head home, is a young man that I mentored while he was in the Harris's home, ended up in prison. I never gave up on him. He got his CXCs in prison. I could remember getting a distinction in English, and I still held on to him. I was shocked when I saw him in his prison clothes, and I was blown away. I had to ask the officer if I can say something to him, and he allowed me. And the person, he said to me, "Mr. Hanley, I'm going to still make you proud." And I went off to university, and I could see him right now. When I returned, he was sitting right down on 4th Street, just in front of Flo. And he engaged me in a conversation, and he said, "Mr. Hanley, I want to go university one day like how you doing it." And I said, "How you think we're going to do this?" And he told me, "What I'm going to do, I'm going to do the SATs." That time you were doing the SATs.
Right.
I gave him the money to pay for the SATs. And while I went back to Florida and the results came back, I got the call saying that he got the highest grade or score in St. Kitts. And then I got on to his father, telling the father, I need us to give him this opportunity. And the father, you sure, Mr. Hanley, I know he's my child, but I know he's like your son too. And I said, yes, let us do it. And the father left St. Lucia, where he was working at the time, came to St. Kitts, organized the loan and everything. And he went off to New York City, and he got his, undergrad. And I think by now he might have completed his, his master's by now. And he has indicated to me that he'll come back home to vote for me in this election. So I have been out there all the time working, and I believe in first and second chance. So, I am not someone who believes that you do something or whatever, you should be thrown in a dump or whatever, because I always believe through honest conversation, you get to know what these persons are. And the young people in particular, they view me as a very confidential person, and they share deep things with me. And I'm happy that I'm able to listen to them and give them that guidance. When it comes to the F, in terms of the fitness and that kind of stuff, I have in my booklet my constituency manifesto, where we are going to be, of course, pushing health and wellness, and part of that, certain areas and green spaces in the constituency, no matter how small they are, we are going to develop them into outdoor gyms. You know, in the States, when you go by certain parks, you see like a little circle there, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 machines there and that kind of stuff. We have already identified the areas in the constituency where we are going to be putting those pocket fitness outdoor gyms. And of course, you can't leave out the children. And we are going to be putting in our kiddies park. And this is not new to me again, because in 1998, while I was the president of the Basti St. Kitts Leo Club, I was able to, under my leadership, erect a kiddies park. We had called it Simba's Park, right there in Ponds Extension, right next to the tennis court. And over the years, I've seen it, because at that time in 1998, the government had just changed. The project was just built by the former government, PAM. So everything was very tense and political, and I don't think it actually got the care that it should have. And after a while, it disappeared. Yeah. And I remember that being something that the former representative, Ian Patches Liboda, indicated that he was going to do. Matter of fact, they had a sign saying they have adopted this space, and they never ever did anything other than putting up the sign. And I give those persons the assurance that the kiddies park will return there, not only to that area, but up in the Taylor's area as well, where that is a growing community. They are going to have their kiddies park and also their fitness outdoor gyms. When it comes to the E, we are talking about entrepreneurship and entertainment. Some time ago, I was amazed when I recognized so many small businesses in my constituency, because during the pandemic, as a way of showing some love and appreciation, I went around and gave them some packages, and I gave out 150 care packages just to some of the small businesses that we have in the constituency. And when I did the breakdown from communities to communities, you find that in Ponds Pasture, you had about 34 small businesses. That's from William Street all the way up to the Craft House. Over Ponds Extension, where I reside, you had about 42. What was shocking as well is that you recognize that in some of the households, you would find 4 small businesses. One of the children, they're doing hairdressing. Another one might be doing cake baking. Another one doing catering. And another one doing barbering. So we had that, and I said, you know what? We need to do something about the entrepreneurs, not only in my constituency, but nationally. And I'm happy that in our manifesto, we are able to speak about the setting up of this small business ministry that is going to be assisting these persons. And of course, the other aspect of the E is something that Mr. Bailey would like in terms of the entertainment. We recognize that this is an industry that is going to really blow the minds of people and take St. Kitts to another level, and we are going to be pushing that. Matter of fact, last Sunday at our gospel rally, right there at the Simaco parking lot, I was able to showcase right there on the screen the innovation of what the Simaco parking lot would look like when we transform it into our music and training studio right there in Ponds Pasture. And that came about because a lot of the young persons who I would have interacted with, you know, they were asking about this. They say, you know, sometimes they just try the thing, they got the music in their room and their house and that kind of stuff. And when you hear the work that they're doing, we are talented people, but they don't have the real place or space to do it. And we are saying that we are going to provide this. And even when they do find another space, because you have to pay people for their talent and, you know, their profession, they are not in a position to pay that kind of money. And I think this training, entertainment square that our center that we are going to be developing, it will help our entertainers in the constituency. And of course, you can't have 8 of them all around, so there might be a consideration to do another one somewhere else, and we do partnership. So those are just some of these things that I'm looking forward to in my constituency. I don't have to tell you how passionately I am about the elderly, and I am going to do all that I can to make sure that our elderly are taken care of. Too often, as I visit them, I am not satisfied with how they are, treated, or, their surroundings. And I spend the time to clean their homes, wash their clothes, take them to the doctors. Sometimes people used to see some of them driving in my vehicle, and they would be looking at me in a kind of way, what he going with she with? And, she used to be drinking all this rum and that kind of stuff, but I don't discriminate. I do things, from my heart, and it is my intention, when we form the government on the 6th of August, to get to work to ensure that we put the necessary programs in place so that our elderly would be able to age with dignity. And by doing that, I am going to be pushing for certified, trained home care officers. And I'm also putting a voluntary group in place as well among my young people, because they too got to understand that one day they might reach that stage and they need to help and prepare themselves as well. And that is what I intend to do, because some of these elderly, they would have made their contributions even in working for government, and it beats me when you see a police officer after a while end up on the road, walking a kind of way, and a teacher and a nurse or any profession. And I'm saying we need to reach to the point now where we take these people off the road one time, put them in an environment where we can take care of them. And I had the opportunity, even before being elected, I renovated 3 elderly homes in my constituency, and I built one from scratch. We started 6 o'clock the morning, and by 6 o'clock the evening, the entire house was completed. Persons started driving up, got so excited. They say, I have a chair. They bring back the chair, then you see dressing table. I remember I went down Courts and I told them they can't disappoint this man. I need a bed. And lo and behold, Courts delivered a bed. These are some of the things that I am going to continue. I recognize that some of these persons, young and old, are living in some dilapidated homes, and the homeowners are taking rent.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that as a government, a caring government, we have to come up with some sort of creative ways of, even if it's a case where we repair the home for the homeowner and don't allow them to charge any rent for a period of time, something like that we need to do. But I don't think in this modern time, people, at least not in my constituency, should be in a house without a bathroom, or they're in a house and you can actually see in the house from outside, when you could just, repair it with some sort of material. And part of our program in the manifesto is the bundle of materials that we are going to be providing persons to get their homes built. Those persons in the yard. Is just a few days ago, one of the guys tell me, he really wants us to get in because he like to hear what we are saying, because he's looking for some materials. He say, I don't want no wall house. I don't have one in the back of the yard, but it's leaking, and when you go there, it's painful when you see how they're living and they have children. So this is something we definitely will be doing in my constituency, and I can speak on behalf of everybody else. Where you would want the materials to do that kind of building, we have to provide it, because you must be living comfortably. So these are just some of the plans that I am excited about to deliver for the good people of, East Basse. Of course, not forgetting the water situation over in the Frigate Bay and the Southeast Peninsula
And the Taylor's area.
and the Taylor's area as well, because we have had, several discussions, and I found out recently that the Marriott has a desalination plant that can provide, water. So it is my intention after the 8th of August, our first day out, to start making some calls to see how that can be integrated in assisting in Constituency 1, because I know it might be a short-term program, but at least if we get a relief for 2 years while government go and do what they have to do, I think it will do well for our residents. And it's not a case that government don't know what they need to do, because this started in 2014 and it was stopped in 2015. And I remember when the bead company came, they identified the areas where they were going to get the water from, where they were going to do the drilling. But it seemed as if somebody could not get anything out of the deal that was already sealed, and as a result, they abandoned the project. I raised it recently in Parliament, and the former Deputy Honorable Sean did indicated that bead will be coming back. But of course, with the collapse of the government, it remains very beady. So we are going to work on making sure that we fix those problems. So Jade would not be calling me about water going off and that kind of stuff.
10 p.m. sharp.
Yes, and it's really annoying to persons that they have to hustle home, to get a shower or decide if they're going to be cooking and that kind of stuff. And sometimes you go by certain homes and they tell you, excuse the bottles of water. You see these lot of bottles of water from the veranda in, that kind of way. But we give the commitment and the assurance to the country that this is going to be a priority, and we are going to get to work with this, because we cannot go into another election, 2027, talking about water. We cannot do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm loving about hearing about these plans that you have, and I do believe that a lot of times what happens is we focus so much maybe on infrastructure and stuff like that, not necessarily on these other areas of the person. And I can tell from how you're expressing yourself and the things that you're proposing, that you really do have the full totality of the man in mind. Talking about fitness, talking about care for the elderly and stuff like that. So I'm very pleased to hear about that, and looking forward to hearing about more as we move forward in the conversation. However, guys, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back with more Island Tea with Dr. Geoffrey Hanley right here on Win Media SKN. Stick and stay.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
It's that time again. Culturama time is here again, and that means the big Culturama 4-day weekend sales event is on at Horseman's. Yes, for 4 days only, from Wednesday, July 27th to Saturday, July 30th at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Building Centers on St. Kitts and Horseman's Nevis. Get 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Yes, 25% off store-wide at Horseman's Building and Nevis Centers and Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Home Store. Get 25% off store-wide on all discountable items for 4 days only, from Wednesday 27th to Saturday 30th. Horseman's Culturama That Time Again sales event. Don't miss it. See store for details.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It's Friday.
Indeed.
And we're in here with a very special guest. Yes, we are here still speaking to Dr. Geoffrey Hanley of the Kitts-Nevis Labour Party. Dr. Hanley, so far you have outlined, several of your plans. You've spoken about some of the things that you were able to achieve as a parliamentarian, even though you were on the opposition benches. And I do know you have aspirations, and you're confident that you would, occupy a different seat.
Oh, yes. I saw this spot last night while I was sleeping, actually.
Well, Dr. Hanley, I know you mentioned about desalination plant, and someone is saying that it is an expensive response to the larger problem. They want to know, are there any plans to increase the price of water, which has gone unchanged in over 20 years, in spite of the increased cost of delivering water to consumers? In addition, a price increase would be a way of influencing waste of water in St. Kitts.
Thank you very much for that question. Of course, yes, we do know that the desal plants is a very expensive venture. That is why I say we're going to have that, those conversations. But I believe once it is an alternative and we have the persons in terms of who are, willing to go away and master this, because, the problem in St. Kitts most of the time is maintenance.
Indeed.
And once you're going to invest in a plant like that, you must make sure that the persons who you are sending away or who are going to be working there would be passionate about it, so the maintenance would have to be a regular thing. With regards to the increase in water, it was just a few days ago I had a discussion in a meeting, and that same thing was raised because, we don't pay much for water here, $20-something, and they are saying that we should increase, water. But I can't give a definite on that because, that's just not an individual decision. That will have to be a collective. But whatever decision it is, I know it would be one that will still be manageable for the consumers. But I do agree that there must be the consideration of increasing, the water. I think what is even more importantly as well is for us to have the right education campaigns that would be going on all the time, not just when it's coming up to the hurricane season or drought, you're hearing something. I think these are things that we need to even start at an early stage within our schools, at our preschools, in terms of measures of conservation, being able to save the water. Like, when you go and you brush your teeth, don't do like me at times. Keep the water running until the process is done. These little things, I believe once we work on them, they would be able to assist with making sure that we have this problem, somewhat under, control. And of course, we have indicated out of our manifesto as well that, in going forward, building of the new homes and that kind of stuff, they are going to be attached to them, cisterns and, cisterns, which would also help as well in, water shortage. And of course, we're hoping that it would help with not causing persons to waste water as well. So I do agree with the person who indicated that there should be a consideration of increasing water because of what we are paying right now.
I always find our constituency number one to be it's a very interesting different cross-section and demographic of people, right? On one hand, you have persons who are, working towards building up their assets, persons who, maybe from a low socioeconomic situation. You have little pockets of poverty that you mentioned earlier. And less than a 5-minute walk away, you have areas where persons who would have, worked hard, would have gotten themselves into a better economic and socioeconomic situation, right? And so I always find it, how do you balance your messaging? How do you balance your response to persons who may have such different needs, right? As you walk around and as you campaign, as you speak to the persons within your constituency, and we've spoken about some of the areas that are pressing as it relates to persons coming from certain areas and certain backgrounds. But what are you hearing from persons who may be from different areas or be in a more privileged position, who you also would have to represent?
Well, if I can start off with the persons who you might consider to be living in the more privileged areas, their concerns include water, electricity, roads in terms of not being, resurfaced in many years. Some are really, I've driven.
Somebody talk about Half Moon.
Yes, over in Half Moon, I remember when I visited over there, I took a photo literally with the Commonwealth leader, Dr. Terence Joan, ex-Prime Minister, where a tree was literally growing in the road. And these areas, not that you're treating them differently to any other, right, but they are the highest tax-paying group of people in the constituency and perhaps in the country. And as a result, to me, certain basic things should be extended to them. They should not be out of water for 4 and 5 days, So that has been some of the concerns in that area. Security as well. There might have been some improvement in that area, but there is still the pocket of concern in, again, as you said, the demographics. When you go into certain areas, probably in Frigate Bay, they would not have the same concerns regarding security as when I visited those persons, for example, down in Horizon. So we are thinking that as these little things develop and differ in different areas, we'll have to make sure that we direct whatever resources that needs to go there. In the same meeting that I had the other day over in the Frigate Bay area, they highlighted the fact that they see the Ross University security van more than a police car, a police patrol, and a police station is situated right in Frigate Bay. So this is something that we have to really, work on. As opposed to when you go in another area, let's say like, the Newtown or the Taylors, the dynamics is totally different. They are more telling you about jobs.
Right.
They're telling you about building sometimes they say shanty, I think that's the word they use, a shanty in the yard, or they want a space, or they want a house, because I felt real bad when persons like I said, a lot of them, they're honest and open up to me. They need an additional room added on to the 2-bedroom low-income house that they would have had for quite a number of years. These boys have grown into men. They have their girlfriends in the house. They end up getting children, says another generation right there in the same 2-bedroom house. And, the mother eventually would want to give up, her room to her grandchildren and them, so the mother occupies herself in the long chair in the front room. We are saying that we need to fix that, and we can fix it, because I remember again when I headed the PEP program, there was a program that we had, what we call Project Help, where we gave $10,000 to families to add on, whether it's a room or add on a bathroom or toilet, because in that pocket area that we're talking about, persons are still using outdoor bathrooms. So we had a program in place to assist that. I don't think that program exists anymore, but under our social protection policies, we are going to make sure that we bring back that in place so that we can fix some of those. And of course, you know, persons are crying out for jobs, as I might have said. It's just yesterday, you know, a young man, very intelligent, but he benefits from the peace or whatever. You know, had a conversation with me, and he said, you know, he's happy for the money because it helped him in terms of taking care of his children. I think, no, he's a child. But he wants something else to do. And I asked him, well, what is it you're interested in? And he said, well, I like music. And another thing I like, because he might have had the opportunity of living overseas, he said, where I lived, I used to put like music on people's wheelchairs and that kind of stuff, so, you know, they can be comfortable, or you can fix up a bike and that kind of stuff. So these are some of the things that are coming from those persons in that end of the constituency that I believe that we would be able to facilitate in our new training that we are going to be rolling out. And you have heard it up to last night that we have already made contacts with Canada and Germany. And even in my meeting, I had a contact in terms of the European Union, in terms of being able to tap into some of those universities, and they're English-speaking universities, so you don't have to be scared about going and having to learn the language. And we are saying that we are going to be offering these training so that persons will come back certified and being able to contribute to the country on a national level, and even the opportunities for them to open up their own businesses. So we are going to be doing that. So as you rightly say, the dynamics of the constituency vary. I'm certain Jade up in Taylor's, because one of the things I had to deal with when I did with my house to house is that it's a growing community, but they have expressed to me that they feel left out.
Oh, we do. I have yet to see anyone come speak to me. I don't know. We're just on the west side right now.
They because everything left out in the sense that everything that happens either happen at the Newtown Playfield or down. Right. And I told them that I am going to change that. Matter of fact, before we got into the breakdown of the government, which led us into a campaign, I had a plan that we were going to be doing a sporting festival up there. Street festival. We're going to do it in the night in terms of the night football and that kind of stuff. But then after we got in the campaign mode, it kind of changed certain things. And when I heard this coming out from one of the residents, I said, okay, this is confirmation. And I give them the assurance that we are going to fix that, because you don't want anybody in a one community, because regardless of where you live, we're still one, feeling that they are not a part. And in helping me to achieve many things that I am proposing, we are putting in place our community improvement councils. Taylors would have their own community improvement council. Bird Rock would have their own. Newtown per se would have their own. Ponds Extension, Frigate Bay, Southeast Peninsula, and what these committees or councils will be doing would be holding my feet to the fire and ensuring that we are able to deliver. And how it's going to work on many occasions, whenever government is ready to do something, they would be consulting with the Community Improvement Council to go and have the town hall meetings and get the dialogue and the buy-in from the communities, because too often things are thrown at communities or constituencies after the fact. And I'm saying I would like to see something different, because, for example, as I plan to, bring about the transformation in education, I want to hear what persons in Taylors would have to say about the Tucker Clark Primary School and the Beach Allen Primary School and the Bastia High School and the Washington Archibald High School, because much work need to be done. And rather than it being a case where I come and say, okay, this is what we are going to, you put the councils to work. And then there are times when you as a parliamentary representative will be able to direct people to persons responsible or who can assist them. So you would not necessarily have to be running to me for everything.
Right.
In Taylors, you have Jade on the council up there. You'll be able to say, well, Jade, this is what I'm experiencing. I would like you to inform the rep on this or whatever. And this is how I would want to see my constituency develop into a real family-oriented. So Taylor's going to have the unique fun day. Down in Newtown, it might be a night party. Ponce Pasture might be a food fair. Bird Rock might be, a sushi something, that kind of way, so that there is a uniqueness among all of the pockets of the communities. But at the end of the day, we come together as one community.
Yeah, I think that is very important in terms of allowing the representative to have a connection to the community. I think what happens a lot of times is it's like all these voices come into this one person. It can become overwhelming and some things can get filtered out. And not necessarily that being the intent, but it's just how do you split yourself into so many different ways? And I'm always a fan of the conversations that include empowering the communities to help themselves. I think a lot of times we sit back and we go, the politicians.
And when you make investment in the constituency, you don't have to be looking over your shoulders because they are going to take care of the investment. But if you don't involve them or include them in the investment, when you fence the playing field or the tennis court, they're not going to be they might not pay attention to somebody climbing the fence or pulling down the fence, but once they're part of it, they'll be like, no, you don't do that. You get off the net, that kind of way.
Right.
If you do that, you're preventing people from playing tennis and all, So it must be a buy-in from the communities.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Geoffrey, I am looking forward to seeing these plans implemented. I know we will have lots and lots of further discussions.
Yes.
As you being our current rep, and after the 8th, if you are successful, you will continue to serve our community. So we will have lots of conversations moving forward because I'm very interested in what you have to say and the things that you are proposing. But unfortunately, we have run out of time.
Oh my, sorry about that.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's a good saying, and I didn't even get to touch off some of the innovations for education, but we'll come back on the 8th.
Of course you will. You are always welcome.
You're always welcome, you're a big sipper one time.
Yes, and I must commend you all on the work that you have been doing. I am always excited when I see young people doing their part in national development, and especially when they come through my hands somewhere or the other, whether it's in a workshop or invited them to make a presentation. So I am very proud of both of you and the many others who you would have been engaging, and I wish God speed and blessings on you guys, that you will go to higher heights.
All right, man, I appreciate that.
Really
I mean, I would have been one that would have been impacted being a youth parliamentarian.
That's correct.
So yeah, definitely grateful for that work. But like we said, you're always welcome, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Who knows what title we would have, but I know the expectation.
Well, for sure, I would remain honorable.
Indeed.
But in terms of ministries, I am not certain as yet, but I am
that was a question I actually
hoping
had for you.
that education would be one of them.
Yeah.
I'm
for sure.
really passionate about education because some quick things that we can do to really transform and change the whole scheme of things. I'm really excited. It won't even take me 3 years to accomplish some of these things that we would need to do to really bring about a different look of our education system.
Well, I mean, sure, the people of East Bastia will make the decision, and I'm sure you look forward to them giving you the opportunity to do just that.
That is correct.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and God's blessings.
Yeah, man, and enjoy the weekend as it comes in. I know it's busy still, but make sure take
Yes,
a
it
2
would
minutes.
be, and we are going to continue to. I'm going to continue to hit the pavement as I leave the studio. I will be
You look
doing
red and ready,
some stuff.
You look red and ready. I was watching you in there.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea. Stick and stay.
Has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It's Friday.
Indeed.
And we are sticking with the theme of talking to cool people this morning. And we are joined by another lovely guest right here in the studio. We have the Queen of the Ring, none other than Shanna. Shanna.
I don't like how you said that. It's Queen of the Ring.
Sorry. Sorry. Jay, do you want to take a stab at it?
Queen of the Ring.
You see?
Watch your head.
It's not
Easy.
off. Off is too posh.
Yes.
You have to give it a little
A little roughness.
Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Shanna, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
That's a good question.
It's a good question. You don't seem fine. It took too long to answer.
We okay now.
She just didn't want to lie, so she thought about it.
Well, it's be honest. You're right. You're not sure.
Oh, we're good enough here. We are good enough here on this beautiful Friday.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful Friday, and again, I just love the fact that you were able to come and hang out with us this morning. So we want to tell you thanks.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, Shanna, for those who don't know, and I don't know who they may be,
Oh, baby on the rock.
but hey,
We don't want to
stranger things have happened. Tell us a bit about who you are and what it is that you're into.
Well, most people know me for music or entertainment per se. I wouldn't just say I'm a musician. I think I would just put it under the category that I'm an entertainer because I like to dance. I love making people laugh. So I use my social media as a means of being comical, expressing myself in different ways. So I think I'm more of an entertainer. Everybody knows I was born in Jamaica. My career started here in St. Kitts, which I'm very grateful for. And now I'm trying to branch back out in Jamaica, trying to get into the dancehall reggae market while still bringing my St. Kitts fans along with me and still keeping that soca vibe.
All right. Well, I mean, I remember when you kind of started recording and getting into the music, and at that point, of course, it's a bit of a toss-up about where this thing is gonna go. But once you started doing it, I recognized that the response was very positive, and you really had some fans. I remember even at Soca Monarch, people really coming out to see and to hear Shanna.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how that has progressed and all of that. But let's kind of talk about a bit about that, right? I mean, what kind of inspired you to get into, let's talk about specifically the music and start singing and recording the music?
It's funny you should say that because most people thought that I went out trying to be a musician. I didn't. I loved music, I loved singing, I sang in church, I sang in choirs, I loved dancing. I knew that I loved entertaining, but it wasn't per se somewhat supposed to be a career. I had other things in mind that I wasn't sure of, but I went out. I didn't go into music like everybody else. I just was doing it and didn't realize it was a passion. I went into Soca Monarch trying to make money for school because I had just got into the University of the West Indies, and I was to study marketing, and I wanted to make an extra dollar to head start my studies. So I actually went into Soca Monarch to make money. When I did my first, I remember at the time I didn't even know that I could write. I always write, but I didn't know that it was a skill. I was just doing it for fun, writing poems and DJing on Facebook and doing stuff like that. I didn't even know it was a skill. So I actually was asking people to write my song for me. I was around the island asking people, and nobody wanted to write a song for me. And I remember I went into Chabo's studio, and he played a beat, and I started to come up with this idea, listen to my body, and it was like, write the song. And I was like, what? I don't know what writing, I don't know, I've never done this before. And I wrote the song, and we produced the song, we put it out, and seeing the attention that I received, people actually saw it before I saw it. They saw that I could be a musician before I saw it. So when the song came out and I saw the love that I received, that's when I realized my whole life just started to change. Like all of a sudden I became this robot. Like I didn't want to hear nothing but music. It was like either I was writing, performing, I'm at work and I'm literally just thinking about music. And that's when I realized that was my passion, and that's what I really wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Wow. Well, I mean, sometimes, like you said, people look on and have no idea where things start. Just recognizing that, hey, you were more looking at a way to, earn some income and to facilitate other stuff. And I remember we had these conversations too about you doing your studies and stuff like that early on. And it just kind of, life takes us in unexpected directions, right? But you would have entered that particular Soca Monarch, the response, like you said, would have been positive, and you started to recognize, like, hey, I have a passion and a love for this thing. At that particular time, though, I must say that there weren't a lot of women in the soca arena. What was your experience as a woman coming into soca?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. At first, it was for me. It was easy because there was no other female that maybe they had one or two females doing their thing, but not in the way that I would do it. You know, I'm a little bit more bold, more aggressive, I'm more willing to take risk and stuff like that. So for me, it was easy because they already started to just paint me as, okay, you know, this is our soca queen already. And I'm like, huh? I just came in. How did that happen? But I'm glad you said that because that is one of the reasons why I felt like I needed to go somewhere else to try something else because I felt like I wasn't being challenged. I felt like I was too, it was too safe. I didn't have much competition, so I was getting too safe, too complacent. Like, I'm not challenging myself enough because there's nobody else to compete with. It's Shanna. You have the man them, that's why the name Queen of the Ring came, because it's like, I'm the Queen of the Ring because I can handle a lot of the men them, but who is there to really say, you know, challenge me beyond my limit? And that's why when I went to Jamaica, I feel like I was in that place where I was able to challenge myself, push myself, try new things and realize, you know, so I can do this too, I can do that too. Because there's so many other female artists out there. There was no more Queen of the Ring. It was like, who is the ring? Who in the ring now? You know what I mean? Because it's like this girl, that girl, and everybody's like, okay, so what makes you stand out from the rest of these females in Jamaica? So that's what happened to me. So here in St. Kitts, it was more easy for me because it was like, okay, it's Shanna. You see a poster, you see about 50 man, but then you see me. So it's like, how did I get to challenge myself? So I was happy for the fact that I got to be that only person and represent for the females and give other females the opportunity and that chance to feel like they're able to come out and do their thing. Because I start to see other females they want to do it. And I was like, I'm glad that I'm able to do that, but I still want to see more because I don't want to ever be complacent and not be able to feel like, you know, I'm going beyond my limit because I feel comfortable because I'm the only female.
Right. I mean, you took this step, you know, moved back to Jamaica, like you said, to in part to kind of challenge yourself artistically. And how has that been going? Because I know, based on the music, you would have put out music, you know, that's a little different from the stuff that you might have been putting out here. You know, genre-wise, how has that experience been? Has it been the challenge that you were looking for? How has been the response?
Definitely, because as you know, I started with soca music, especially in St. Kitts. You know, they're expecting me to stay within that realm. So as soon as I start to jump out of it, it's like, hey, whoa, what is this? And it's like I think a lot of people forget. I was living here for a while. I went to school here, so they start to paint me as, they know I'm Jamaican, but they still kind of think I'm Kittitian. So it's like they keep forgetting that I am Jamaican. I was influenced by reggae music. I grew up on Barry Salmon, Buju Banton. These are the kind of music my stepfather used to play within the home. So as much as I'm doing the soca, I love soca because I'm influenced by it. I've lived in other Caribbean countries, but I grew up on those music, so I can't help but wanting to try or wanting to go into that field. It has been very hard because some people is having a hard time accepting that I can move from, you know, telling you to follow your dreams or telling you that you're the international girl to telling you a little bit to being a bit more sexual or being a little bit more expressive, talking about issues like rape and stuff that are going on within the community. So it's been a shocker for people, but it has also helped me too because I'm now able to express myself in different ways that I couldn't do within the soca genre. In soca, you know, it's rare. I mean, you have artists like Voice who is able to say things and people listen to the soca, but it's not everybody has the opportunity. You have to go back and say push back bumper somewhere. So I felt like I wasn't able to express myself enough. Like it was
the content was limited.
Right.
Based on the genre.
So I couldn't say a lot of things, you know. Everybody just wanted me to stay in a realm. It's like I'm growing up too. At the time when I started to do music, I was in a little bit in my early 20s. So I'm growing up, I'm becoming a woman, I'm expressing myself in different ways, and a lot of people couldn't handle it. But I'm glad that I was able to do that, because people got to see not only that I can sing, but that I can DJ, that I can rap, and they get to see the versatility and how expressive I could be. And the Jamaican market is very accepting of it. I mean, St. Kitts is still trying to catch up, because some people don't really, they want me to stay in soca. So it's hard for them. And my fan base has been core soca. And since I started to do the freestyling and a little bit of the dancehall now, it's like, no, it's a 50-50 thing.
Okay.
It's like my fan base has become 50-50 now.
So like-
Dancehall
so-
and soca.
So like reggae dancehall, you'd say really provided a platform for you to express yourself in new ways,
Yeah, right.
especially content. But let's talk a bit about that. Do you think it's fair, the impression people have of Shanna as being like this raunchy artist, and this artist who just like who they might say maybe not wholesome? Do you think that's a fair assessment?
It's not fair, but I think a lot of artists went through this process. If it's just that it's how people accept you. If we look at most of the other mainstream artists' career, like Rihanna, she started out good girl, and she had an album called Good Girl Gone Bad. And what it was a process where she was normally singing, hey, Mr. DJ, some on the replay. Then she started to get a little bit more bad. Started to talk about, I need my money. Started, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I think it's not fair for me, because I can't always be the kids' choice. I said I'm gonna be able to appeal to the kids sometime. I'm gonna be able to appeal to teenagers, to grown adults, to older people. But I don't want to be that artist where it's just focusing on one kind of people. I want to be able to touch people in different ways. I want to be able to speak on different issues. I want to be able to inspire people in many ways. Because some people, they listen to your music, but they don't just love you for your music. Sometimes they love you just for who you are. Like social media, there are people who would watch me on social media. They don't know me from my music. They know me from me being maybe posting a TikTok and being funny. And they tell me, you brighten up my day. So you can touch people in different ways, not just through one genre, not just through singing, but just through who you are as a person. So it may not be fair, but life isn't fair anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times how we're introduced to people, we expect them to stay there. And that's something that I think a lot of artists have to deal with, where people want you to stay the person that they fell in love with.
Right.
Right? And not recognizing that you are a full human being with different experiences, desires, feelings, things you want to express.
No, but sorry to cut you. People want to stay in love with the person who they fell in love with, but that's the thing. You don't completely know a person fully. Like, you see me singing, follow your dreams, whatever, but do you completely know me? Do you know every side of me? Because what you're seeing now, people would say, oh, she changed, what that? Like, there's no change. That was always there. I just never showed you it.
Right.
You've never seen it, so you think this is new, or she trying a new image or something. No, it was always there. I've always done this.
This is all me, and I'm all this.
Right. You're just seeing different shades and different pieces layers coming out as my career progressed. But this has always been me. I think another thing too is, it has always been there, but I wasn't brave enough to show it, because I felt like I would have been judged, or I felt like people are gonna look down on me and stuff like that. And it's like, no, like, here it is. I'm gonna be bold and say what I have to say, is whether you like it or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I really do feel it for women in music, and I've been on committees where we considering artists and stuff like that, and like I was saying, so what about Shanna? And I'm like, alright, Shanna, bye, like. She can come. How she can dance? How she can wear?
Well, there's a time and place for everything,
right.
And as an artist, you should know that. You have artists like Beyonce. If the government call her, or like the government called to perform, she comes in a whole suit.
Yeah.
But when she's performing for Coachella, she's in her panty, and
she could perform at Coachella. She could perform at the White House.
And she can change her set list to suit each
Right.
performance. So I think it's really unfair that because somebody does this or that they shouldn't have the opportunity as other artists. Like there's a time and a place, and if you're professional, you should know when the time and the place is for everything, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the point, and that's totally correct. And the point I was making is that in these conversations, I'll be like, but wait there. We done kind of decide we're going to hire these three men. And by the time they done sing the fourth song, they done kill about 10 people.
Yeah, so I'm confused. So
Like, I just be like,
the stigma isn't attached to the men.
yeah.
No, and it's sad.
Right, exactly.
Because
exactly.
they sometimes have an image too of things that they do, but they're not gonna be judged. We mostly as women, we being judged by our attire, our image, and
exactly.
it's so sad. It is really sad because we can do 10 times what the men can, sometimes even better. You get what I mean? And I don't really let that get in my way. As I said a minute ago to you, Azem, I know the time and the place for everything. I got freestyles, I got things that I do, but that's for there. If I have a certain event and I know, okay, for this event, I have to be more polished, or for this event, I could be a little bit more loose. I know the time and the place for what I'm doing, and not everything that I performed on social media or that I put out, I'm going to promote it at every single event. You get what I mean?
But yeah, Shanna, I think it's something though that we are beginning to see a shift in. I think it's slowly coming, and it needs to progress a bit more. But
A bit?
yeah, I mean, because the truth is though, even when Shanna mentioned about the evolution of the artist, just not even the evolution of the artist, but the evolution of the art which is presented.
Right.
I mean, a lot of artists, male artists, when they start out with maybe more what would be considered negative content, and then they are allowed to change and give positive messages afterwards.
Nobody says anything.
Right.
They applauded.
Right. And nobody saying, "Oh, you change," or whatever. And they could flip flop today. It could be get the youths, be wise and open up your eyes.
And tomorrow,
tomorrow is like, I'll shoot out you would make you understand where I'm coming from? Which
Right.
That's an eyelash.
yeah, and so I mean, bearing in mind that these are all parts of the artists and expressing
But
themselves.
a male is more, they accept males to say anything. Because a male could say anything sexual or whatever one at a time, and it's like, yeah, man. Just like how, as it relates to like relationships, you have, it's okay for a man to cheat, but as a woman do it, she's painted as something else. It's the same thing as you look at it with music. A woman says something sexually, oh, wow. But men been doing this for a long time in music. But it's okay for them. And it's sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't have to encourage you because you have been doing what you have to do. You've been expressing yourself, and persons have been responding positively to your art. And I know that you have fans both here, St. Martin, and
International girl.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, remember that song there, right?
All over the world.
You also just recently put out a freestyle yesterday.
Ooh, yes. That as you know, it's very expressive if you go and listen to it. I reach a point now where in music where I'm not afraid to talk my truth. So if I experience something, and I feel that's one of the best ways for me to create art, it comes easy, it flows easily when I talk from experience. So now I'm not afraid to speak. So if I experience something and I feel I want to put it in the music, I'm going to do it. It is what it is. So with that freestyle, it was just me talking about an experience I had during the festival time, and the things that we as women have to go through, especially within this industry, with trying to get an opportunity, and it all of a sudden becomes sexual. And I was just basically making a stand in the song saying that I don't have to do any of those things to be heard, because I believe in my talent, and one day it just takes a little patience. It's going to happen, and I would never have to conform to any of that to make it.
Well, we're happy to know that you're back doing music and you're continuing on this journey, because we do remember you had a little medical scare.
So it's still there. My lupus is still very active. I just try to keep it under control. I do have some days where it does affect me. But I'm so strong. You would see me going around and you would know. But I mean, there are times when I'm in pain and stuff like that. But they did say it's a chronic illness, so it's something that I would have to live with. I can only keep it under control. Sometimes it can go into remission, and then other times it comes back. But you know me, I don't let anything get. I just feel like it's just, in this my career, there has been a lot of obstacles. I just feel like this one has just come to really challenge me. How bad do I want this? I mean, it slowed me down for a bit. I'm not going to lie. It did slow me down for a bit because most of what I wanted to do or I could have done, I had to kind of step back because I was sick and I had to take the time and really take care of me. So, but I don't let it get in my way. I still do what I have to do and I push through.
Well, we're happy to hear that you are at least managing and pushing forward. And so what do you have to tell your fans who are looking forward to what you have coming up next? Is there any little tidbits that you could give them, an album, an EP, anything at all that they could look forward to?
Well, I'm always working on music. The thing is, I have music. I have songs that I've done a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But for me, I reach a point now it's not about just throwing out the music. I've gained a lot of knowledge, as it really is. Well, I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. Let me just say that. But this industry is cutthroat, and you have to learn the business. And I reach a point now where it's like, I'm not going to just throw out the music. I want to be able to put it out correctly. And it's all about timing. I am working on music. I have some work that I've done recently here. I have some collabs as well that I worked on while I was here. So that's coming as well. Working with Jamaican producers as usual and foreign producers. So I have stuff in the pipeline, but it's all about the timing so far.
Awesome. And I know you have been on a few events so far lately. You have any performances coming up anytime soon?
I do. Some are not fully confirmed as yet. I should be performing tonight. And I have another event coming up in the next few days. Not fully confirmed as yet, but I do have performances coming. I'll be here for maybe another month or two. We'll see. I'm just seeing how the everything treats me, and then I'll go back to Jamaica. But for now, I'm here.
All right, awesome. So she's here, guys. Open for bookings, and of course.
Yes, open for bookings.
Yeah, of course. Look out for her, and tell people quickly how to keep in contact with you, know what's upcoming, and know what's going on with Shanna.
All right. So my social medias, all of my social media handles is Shanna Raymond. That's SHANNA Raymond, RAYMOND. Instagram Shanna.Raymond. Facebook fan page Shanna Raymond. Twitter Shanna Raymond. Everything is Shanna Raymond. And if you can't find me, you search for Queen of the Ring and you'll find me there as well. Also, I should be on a podcast this weekend, so I'll be posting some information on that. Looking forward to everybody looking into that as well.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Shanna, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, talking to you, getting updates about all that's happening with you, and
you speaking your truth when it comes to how you feel about being a female artist.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Indeed. It's a long weekend. I'm hoping that you enjoy it, and that you really have a pleasant weekend moving forward. And of course, you're always welcome here. Feel free to come hang out with us right here on Island T. We look forward to talking to you again soon, and looking forward to whatever is next for you in your career.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it as well.
All right.
Boy, just like that, Friday's over. As a matter of fact, just like that, this week is over. I know you're not really feeling like it is, but you know.
Jed?
I know, friend. It's okay.
Jed,
you're going to be all right.
Bye.
You only have Culturama to enjoy all weekend. Oh dear, yeah, look up as I'm working as usual. So the Culturama season, come up to him and give him a nice little hug or a
drink,
Red Bull.
I drink water. I drink water. I drink water. If
Cause
you all
he
have
might be a
any,
little patched.
if you all have any of those vitamin C packets, you could share them in. But other than that,
Yeah. Do set up a little care package for Azim in Nevis, please. Make sure he comes back to us on Wednesday. Wednesday, in the best possible health, not exhausted, because next week is going to be busy as well.
Yeah.
Boy.
I want to take this opportunity to encourage people to use this week. Just take us a few minutes out of your weekend to understand why is it that we have this holiday as well. A lot of times, the reason for the holiday is overshadowed by the activities that are put in place to enjoy them, and it's very important what this weekend signifies. And so, just take a few minutes, ponder it, recognize that we are here based on the sacrifices of many others, and if it had not been for those sacrifices, where we may have been as a people. So that we could fully enjoy the holidays that we now have, right? And all the other amenities and rights and so forth and so forth.
Indeed, friend, indeed.
But guys, we gotta leave, we gotta go, we gotta disembark, we gotta disappear.
Because Miss Sandra is here. Looking,
Well, Sandra in a good mood.
Some good news,
Sandra
man.
in a good mood. I can telling her that no, we could step from here and see the energy just popping off of Sandra. So
You see she name on the list yesterday?
she was on the list.
Man, I was asking, I feel like she name should be on the list.
What?
Yeah, man.
I what?
Sandra name was on the list? She said she name was on the list. I must have missed it. I just wonder how to get on. Link me. You got the link me and Azim, please.
I get the thing. I realize it was that document file, but me no. Up to now, me no open it.
I did.
Me no open it.
People arguing on Facebook all yesterday.
I was like, so you mean this is
over that document?
This is something I go edit on my phone?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can. I know. Anyway, but
Sandra gonna link us. Don't worry.
But guys, of course, stay tuned for your view coming right up next after LNT with Sandra, and I just want to wish you guys Jade.
Can't emphasize enough on the word safe.
And like I said, Sandra is here, guys. But I just want to please, we don't know what the future holds for us. Be as safe as possible, please.
Drive safely
and
drink responsibly.
Yeah, and deal with people with love and respect, man. Because you don't know.
Yes.
You don't know. Especially now. Love and respect, please. But guys,
time to go.
So please, don't go make the mistakes everybody else making.
No.
You could learn from the losses of others, you know.
As you should.
Please spend more time living your content than posting it.
Keep off of Facebook now, man.
As I just said, life is short. And please remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a Sandra. See you guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye.